In the Haydn 104 part of the Eduqas A-level music exam, there's always a question that looks like this. 3 or 4 marks asking you to identify 3 or 4 things in a short passage of the given movement. This is the third of 7 videos showing you how to identify 7 of the things they're most likely to ask you about. The circle of fifths progression is used many times by Haydn in his symphonies, so there are probably too many examples in Symphony number 104 for you to simply memorize. I've counted 16 and I've likely missed some. Pause the video now if you'd like to copy these down and annotate them into your copy of the score. If you do annotate them into your score and learn how to spot them, you should be well prepared for any exam questions that come your way on this topic. A circle of fifths progression is a harmonic progression, that is, a series of chords, that descends in fifths. In the key of C, starting on the tonic, that gives you C, F, B, E, A, D, G, and then back to where we started, C, closing the circle. Here's how the progression looks using Roman numerals. 1, 4, 7, 3, 6, 2, 5, and back to 1. You don't need to do a full circle for it to count as a circle of fifths progression. Usually 3 steps around this circle is enough. Notice that I'm using uppercase Roman numerals for major chords, lowercase for minor, and that little circle next to chord 7 tells you that it's neither major nor minor, but a diminished triad. Most of the time, circle of fifths progressions end up back on the tonic at the end of a phrase. And notice what that gives you, a perfect cadence. What's great about circle of fifths progressions is that this order of notes and Roman numerals never changes, regardless of which key you're in. For example, if we switch from C major to A major, I can simply add the necessary sharps and respin the wheel to make A the tonic. But the order of notes and Roman numerals remains the same. This is true even in minor keys. Let's switch to G minor. Change the sharps and flats to fit our new key signature, make G the tonic. And hey presto, same order. Notice that the quality of the chords has changed. 2, for example, is now diminished rather than minor. 6 is now major rather than minor, and so on. But their order is the same. Let's look at some examples from Haydn 104 now. I'll keep the circle of notes and of Roman numerals on the screen so you can see how things are matching up for each one. Our first example appears in bars 44 to 46 of the first movement. In the key of D major, we have 2, 5, 1, and you can clearly see the bass falling a fifth from E to A and then rising a fourth to D. That's simply an inversion of a falling fifth. So from a harmonic point of view, a falling fifth and a rising fourth are essentially identical. Our second example is from movement 3, bars 56 to 58. It does exactly the same thing, but this time in the key of B flat major. 2, 5, 1. This time C, F, B flat, falling fifth, rising fourth. This telltale movement in the bass is preserved even when the harmony above it becomes more complex. Circle of fifths progressions are great vehicles for smuggling chromatic chords, such as secondary dominants, into the music, and Haydn does this all the time. Here's an example. Back to movement 1. This time bars 108 to 112. Now in A major, we have a longer passage of fifths, beginning on C sharp, through F sharp, B, and E, before arriving back at the tonic A. Notice those recognizable leaps in the bass. However, 2 of these chords don't belong directly to the key of A major. The C sharp is actually a root of a secondary dominant. It's chord 5, borrowed from the key of F sharp minor, shown by the inclusion of an E sharp. Similarly, the B acts as the root of the dominant chord in E major, because of the D sharp played by the oboes and the first violins. All this means is that circle of fifths progressions can include chromatic harmony. The important thing is that the root notes of the chords follow the order of the notes on the circle of fifths. I say root because this can sometimes be hidden by the use of inversions. Inverted chords are those where a note other than the root of the chord is played by the bass. However, it doesn't stand in the way of circle of fifths progressions. Here's an example from bars 97 to 99 of the first movement. We're still in A major here. We appear to have lost that striking movement of leaps in the bass, except for the final change from E to A. However, this chord with D in the bass is in first inversion. The root of the chord is actually a B, making it chord 2. You can see it there played by the first violins. With that in mind, we can recognize this for what it really is, another circle of fifths progression. One final detail that you might have already spotted is that circle of fifths progressions are descending harmonic sequences, and this fact is often accentuated by the use of descending melodic sequences. Here's bars 220 to 226 of the first movement. It's a complete lap of the circle, accompanying a 2-bar phrase played in sequence by the first violins. Descending melodic sequences are another detail you can sometimes, though not always, use to spot circle of fifths progressions. See the description below the video for links to my music resources website, where you've got access to all exam past papers, mark schemes, and audio extracts, to my website, where you can make inquiries about one-to-one and group tuition sessions, and to lots of other links for other YouTube videos and other resources that talk about the circle of fifths. As ever, if you've found this video useful, please consider liking and subscribing.